Thanks very much indeed. Delighted to be here at this in Biz for Peakers, which I saw on the slide a little while ago, back to the dyslexia factor. What I do in terms of presentations, I focus upon the future Steve mentioned. I focus upon the future and look at kind of the macroeconomic issues. The macroeconomic issues in terms of how they then come down and impact upon businesses and then upon the skills and the talents and what we as individuals need in order to meet those challenges. I've talked to a client business the other day, and he said, well, we're taking a big risk for our next event. We're going to focus upon the future. Can you believe that? We're going to focus on the future. We have to focus on the future now if we're going to be ahead of the game, if we're going to be leading edge, if we're going to be able to reinvent our business ahead of the game in order to defeat our competitors. And that means we can't just focus upon our immediate strategy of here today and how do we get there tomorrow. We have to create the scenarios of the future in terms of how is that going to impact upon our marketplace, how is that going to impact our competitors, how is that going to impact upon how we develop our business for the future. And that is what I do. And in terms of focusing upon that broader perspective, that broader macro, if you like, framework, I think I focus now upon kind of a number of, 4 or 5 key areas. The first one, obviously, is the whole aspect of globalization. Globalization and the remix of the global economy. I mean, it's well known now, of course, about India and China. India and China, 2.5 billion people brought into the world economy. 2.5 billion people brought into the world economy, such that by 2010, there'll be 600 million affluent consumers in those two countries. 600 million affluent consumers, and what's the first thing they do? They buy a car. And after that, they buy a house. And after that, they insure their house. They insure their property. And after that, they take out health insurance. It's creating a whole new kind of consumer base, such that in 5 to 10 years' time, whereas today, what American consumers do impacts upon the rest of the world, like, for example, the subprime mortgage market in America. In the future, in 5 years' time, will be what happens and what consumers in China and India do, which have a major impact upon our financial markets. If we look at India, if we shift to China, China is rapidly becoming a knowledge economy. A knowledge economy such that China is trying to encourage 1.2 million scientists and technologists and specialists back to China, because China is developing itself as a leading-edge knowledge economy. China invests far more into nanotechnology research than the UK. China invests more into research and development than any other country in the world except the United States. This is the remixed economy we're talking about. China, incidentally, will have 120 million foreign tourists coming to Europe in 2015. Huge impact for our hospitality sector. Huge impact for our retail sector. If we look at that remix of the global economy in those sorts of ways, we can see how great opportunities for what the UK is very good at. Good at retailing, good at professional services, good at financial services, good at management consultancy. Huge business opportunities in India and China in the future. The growth of those two economies is not a threat, it's a great opportunity, giving us huge opportunities compared with, shall we say, Germany, or indeed I would say the United States. Having said that, if we look at the export of Chinese goods, 52% of the goods exported from China are from American companies based in China, which get exported to the United States, which accounts for 1/3 of the American trade deficit. A whole lot of issues to do with that, and also the issues to do with the fact that this is creating global supply chains, which is absorbing small and medium-sized enterprises. Small and medium-sized enterprises are also having to become part of these global supply chains to get these opportunities. Now, there's a further impact upon the growth of India and China. And that impact, of course, is in terms of energy and commodities. The whole economic development of Europe and the United States has been based upon cheap commodities and cheap energy. That changes in the future. China and India are pulling in and absorbing so much in terms of commodities and energy, such that the whole impact upon the Western economy will be absolutely huge. Just one statistic. The price of oil by 2015, according to every scenario we've looked at, will be 3 times what it is today in 2015.